Hey guys, Dr. Ryan Simpson here with Back to Life Chiropractic and Acupuncture. The month of December is all about stress mitigation. How can we keep stress at bay during this crazy time with the holidays and everything else going on in the world right now without diving too deep into that? So I'm blessed to be here today with Jenny Helms from Soma Therapy. Jenny is a licensed marriage and family therapist?
Yes, almost. It's clinical marriage and family therapist, but basically yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So she's going to talk with us a little bit today about what we can do to just kind of keep stress at bay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you are going to share the biochemical pieces of it, because we know that stress isn't just something that happens up here, it also happens throughout our body. So first things first, we want to pay attention to our different stressors. Now, some stress is good. You know, it's not that all stress is bad and that we have to be meditating in the mountains throughout our entire time during the holidays or that sort of thing. But I think it's really important that we prioritize what we stress about. Typically during the holidays, they can just get caught up in all of the things they have to do, and they end up forgetting about the magic of the holidays, the magic of connecting with others and what they truly care about, what they truly want to get out of the holidays. So I think first things first is getting perspective on what are the things I want out of the holidays and setting boundaries around what they're going to quote unquote stress about, so to speak. And I mean that in a healthy stress, right? Like, I'm going to care about these pieces of the holiday, but I'm not gonna stress over, is dinner perfect? I'm not gonna stress over things outside of my control, like if everybody's in a good mood, that sort of thing, and setting those self boundaries around family members. That also goes along with creating safety. So for some people, visiting family members, it's a little uncomfortable because there's different personalities, or maybe there are things that they do that are really unhealthy. And so for yourself, I would encourage you to set boundaries around how you're gonna respond, plan out what those situations might look like and how you might respond calmly with a boundary, and have an exit strategy. If you need time away, even if that just means 10 minutes to just breathe, get back into your body and be more you, make sure you have an exit strategy for decompressing, or if you need to leave the situation entirely, that, maybe you took a car there, or you have an option to go for a walk outside. We all know that when we go to visit family, we kind of shrink a little bit, and I say shrink in the sense that we can go back to the way that we felt in childhood, and we can feel certain stressors and not really be our best selves all the time. So make sure you're taking care of yourself and setting boundaries so you can show up more like you during the holidays, and less like the parts of you that might be triggered by different family members.
That's fantastic. You say taking care of yourself, and I think so often during this time of year, we completely lose all of our normal routine because there does seem to be so much more to do. We've got to plan for Thanksgiving, which has already happened. We've got family coming into town here or not coming into town because of whatever else is going on in the world. And so those little routines that we're in during the summer months have kind of faded away. So we quit working out. We quit paying attention to our diet. We quit paying attention to what our body is feeling. Your body does an incredible job of telling you what it needs long before it's at an injury point or at a deficiency point. And so if you will take the time to just slow down and listen to what your body has to say and where it's gonna go and what it's telling you it needs, then we can normally keep some of that at bay. You had mentioned that stress was a good thing, and I love that because homeostasis is the body's desire to keep things level. The only way we can ever challenge that is through stress. Stress can be good. When we run, that's stress on the heart, and it's not bad stress, it's just a good, healthy stress that kind of pushes our body a little bit further. Tell me something specifically that a person watching this today would be able to get away from a volatile situation and just a quick and easy out, something that, oh hey, I forgot, whatever, and gives them a moment to get away.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even just the ability to kind of catch yourself in that moment if you're starting to become dysregulated. Like, that's a huge piece, is to even have that internal awareness. Or even if you say something or do something that you're like, I really wish I didn't say that, that's probably a good cue for you at that point that you need to go do some regulating and get out of a certain situation. And it could simply be, hey, I'm gonna go on a walk, or I've got to use the bathroom, or, you know, whatever it is. Sometimes it's not even like necessarily a verbal thing that you have to say. But sometimes, you know, yeah, I've got to go use the restroom. I'm going to go take a walk. I've got to go make a phone call. Or, you know, if you just need an out, just plan something that is kind of, you know, a strategy, even if it's, you know, not 100% real that you need to go take a phone call. You know, sometimes that's just a good way of politely, you know, getting out of a situation. And again, you know, one of the big things is, I think most people, especially around family members, they're so worried about how they'll respond and if everyone else is going to be okay. And really, the only thing we can truly regulate is ourselves. And I remind people to not be apologetic about needing time away and needing self-care time. Needing to maybe go out and go for a run and do some of the regular things biochemically to take care of yourself. Like, you don't have to be there and making sure all your family members are happy 24/7. In fact, you're gonna be a lot healthier and happier. Like, I always prioritize moving and doing some other things to make sure my head is in a good space around the holidays, and just making sure that, you know, you don't have to apologize or come up with this big lofty reason as to why you might need some time to just decompress and regulate. Some of the neuroscience that I find pretty interesting is, on average, if we are flooded, it takes us about 26 minutes to come back down. So making sure that you set a timer, and for 26 minutes, you've got to go do something that is different from the thing you were stressing over. So like, you can't just like ruminate about the thing that happened. If you're ruminating about the thing that happened, that 26 minutes doesn't count. But, you know, if you're able to disconnect from that and just, you know, do some deep breathing, or think about something else, or plan, you know, something different in your mind and kind of switch gears, that usually gives your body enough time to go from being flooded neurochemically into a state of being more neutral and being able to come back to a situation without being as stressed.
Yeah, there's a ton of research on cortisol and the way it affects, it's a stress hormone, the way it can affect your total physiology, from the chemistry of your brain all the way through to the way your body recognizes and deals with physical stress. One of the things that we hear about all the time, and it's fun because you see the t-shirts of, you know, I'm not going to whine about it, whine being spelled W-I-N-E. During the holidays, we really can gravitate towards covering up some of that stress through alcohol or other addictions. While alcohol can be fun and have its place in certain situations, it's not ideal for handling stressful situations, and it certainly doesn't usually make anything better. Do you guys at Soma, do you do any type of addiction therapy?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we have certain providers that specialize in addictions, and they have their addictions, like their clinical license and that. But I think, generally speaking, all of us can kind of be on that spectrum of gravitating towards addictive things, right? Or maybe abusing certain substances, especially like around certain triggers and things like that. And several therapists, if we're working through trauma, if we're working through those things, we're going to be processing that. I would love to hear more about like some of the biochemical like recommendations you'd have, or if you could explain more about like alcohol. How does that, you know, make it worse, or, you know, tell us more about that piece.
Yeah, so when people are, when we come out of homeostasis, so when we leave our normal environment, the thing that, you know, your heart beats at 60 beats per minute, your blood pressure is at 120/80, and your body is fighting really hard to keep it there all the time. And then we take a toxin, which the liver receives alcohol strictly as a toxin. Mm-hmm. And so when the liver receives the alcohol for 48 hours, it can't do anything but process alcohol. So almost all those other toxins in your body, anything that pesticide from your food, anything else that your body would normally be fighting off, now all of its energy is focused on this one singular thing that it's going to try to fight off. And so your body has a threshold for stress. Everybody's threshold is a little bit different, right? So if you have a person who is has is preconditioned to have some sort of anxiety or something like that, their bottle is going to be a little bit more full, and so the amount that they can take on top of that is going to be a little bit less. Where someone who maybe doesn't struggle with some of the doesn't have obesity or something like that, and so their bottle can fill up with more stress before it actually overflows. And so the thing I want people to do, and what I really want my patients to do, we talk about a lot, is what can we do to bring the level of the bottle down just on a daily basis? Are you working out? 20 minutes of an elevated heart rate, somewhere between 130 and 155 every day, can dramatically change the hormone response your body has to stress, the neurochemical response your body has to stress, and it just allows you then to be able to address other stressors at a much higher level. The other thing is, I tell all my patients, you need to be doing something to take care of your physical self in regards to yoga. Are you being adjusted regularly? Are you seeing a physical therapist? Are you seeing a personal trainer, an athletic trainer? I really don't ever try to force what that looks like onto people. I want them to make that decision on their own, but a regular adjustment can have huge impacts on someone's physiology. So are you doing things for self-care? Are you getting a massage? Are you going and getting your hair done? I tend to not go that direction, but so anyways.
You say so, yeah. I was like.
So I hope that that provides a little bit of insight on, how we're going to manage these holidays, how we're going to get through them safely, how we're going to get through them effectively.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think just from like the mental health side, people forget that when we've had certain contexts in our background, that things can just kind of pile up, and just like you're talking about, making sure you're physically getting adjusted and taking care of your body, it's so important you're also processing things that come up here, because when we don't take care of that, it might come out in resentment and other ways during the holidays. We might be holding on to stuff, and then it shows up physically in our bodies as well. So all of this is connected. It's just important that, no one's perfect in this. Like nobody is perfect mental health or perfect biochemistry. So it's not about aiming for perfection, but it's doing enough to keep you in a space that you are more you during the holidays and year round, honestly. But, especially during the holidays, because I feel like that's when people, for some reason, they forget to move, they forget to get adjusted. They don't take care of their mental health as much. And so this is just a reminder that it's extra important to do that this time of year and during this year, because we've had added systemic stressors and anxieties, for all of us. If you have any feedback or questions you'd like to ask us, we'd love to hear that in the comments. I'm just so grateful that you joined me today, so thank you for that, and I appreciate your wisdom. It was awesome to get to spend this time with you. If someone who is in my circle wants to be able to get connected with Soma Therapy, how can they go about doing that? Absolutely. You can visit us online at Soma, S-O-M as in monkey, A, Wichita.com. We have 2 different locations and 2 different phone numbers, but you can find all of that information there. And if somebody in my circle wants to get connected with you, what's a good way for people to reach you? Yeah, we're on Facebook, Back to Life Chiropractic and Acupuncture, or B2LChiro.net. So that's B, the number 2, the letter L, Chiro.net. And all of you can schedule an appointment right there online, and all the paperwork will come right through. So awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you again. It was wonderful to spend some time with you. Yes. All right. Take care.